Hello, my name is Chris with Vimtrim, and today we're going to be talking about the science of weight loss. There is a lot of misnomers, misinformation, and it's just downright confusing. We hear it all the time, all these information on TV, all these infomercials, and it's hard to wonder what's true. So today I want to talk about what the true science of weight loss is. No gimmicks, no fads, just the science. So what we're going to start with is breakfast. Breakfast literally is the most important meal of the day. The word breakfast basically means break fast, because you're roughly going 12 hours without eating. So what we want to do is make sure that we have 60% of our total carbohydrate intake for breakfast. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have a lot of carbs for breakfast. That just means that the majority of them needs to be for breakfast. The reason for that is we need to fuel our metabolism at the beginning of the day. The average person actually burns about 300 calories while sleeping. So it's important that we energize the system, you fuel the system with the energy that our body needs. So there's three major macronutrients. The first macronutrient is protein. Protein is basically building material. Everything from your skin, even your eyeballs, and your muscle tissue is made out of protein. So a majority of your body's soft tissue is a form of protein. So it's very important that we get a good amount of protein. So the next thing is your fats. Fats have gotten a bad rap over the years. Fats are not evil, fats are not bad. It has to do with the source of fats and of course the quantity. We want to make sure that we're not eating too many fats, but we also want to get good fats from good sources such as avocados, olive oil and things like that. Even the fish oils, fish from salmon and so forth. So fat is not bad, fat is not evil, we just need the right amount and the right kind. And last but not least, of course, is the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, the only role that it plays in the body is fuel. It's an energy source. So we want to make sure that we're getting enough of the right energy, but again, not too much. So the next thing is lunch. We want to make sure that we get 30% of our total carbohydrate intake for lunch. You notice that we're decreasing the amount. Now between breakfast and lunch, we want to make sure that we get a snack. I usually suggest something simple like an apple and some almonds. Now we're going to also have another snack here, and at this point, because we're reducing the amount of carbohydrates we're consuming, something simple like a protein shake is something we can do here. Now I want to differentiate the difference between a protein shake and a meal replacement shake. A meal replacement shake has carbs, proteins, vitamins and minerals, and usually a little bit of fiber. Right here we're talking about just a protein shake, okay? So there's a difference. Next is dinner, and only 10% of our carbohydrate intake needs to be for dinner. So at this point, basically what we should be consuming is vegetables and protein. Now protein of course can come from many sources. We're looking at fish, chicken, pork is not bad, lean beef. I'm not going to be one of those trainers that says that you can't eat beef anymore. We need to be practical. Now of course if you have high cholesterol, maybe some other medical issues, we may need to suggest other sources of protein, but those are some basic ones that you can consume. So this is not a diet. The idea is that we help you change your lifestyle, change your eating habits. So this is something that we want to help our clients gradually do over time. Usually when we're working with someone, it takes about 3 months to help them make a full habit change. Bad habits die hard, and it takes time to build new habits. So think about it. In our typical American diet, it looks more like this, where we're eating a majority of our carbohydrates for dinner. Think about it. It's the end of the day, right? Our bodies are beginning to slow down. Our bodies are secreting melatonin into the system. It's getting to be time to go to sleep. And what do we typically do here in America is that we eat a lot of excess carbohydrates at the end of the day. That's when we have our pasta and our rice and our pizza and things like that. Again, I'm not suggesting that we don't eat those things. I'm suggesting that we try to avoid eating them most of the time. We don't want to do it for dinner, okay? So it's very important that we try to flip-flop what our typical American diet looks like. Many studies have shown that when we eat certain foods does play a major role in our metabolism and our ability to lose weight. Next we want to talk about your VO2 capacity. Volume of oxygen squared, this has to do with how efficient or inefficiently our body is utilizing oxygen. The reason this is important is because the process the body uses to break down fat is called the oxidative process, which basically means you have to have enough available oxygen to break down fat for fuel. So I'm going to draw a little chart here. Obviously, I didn't take art class. So these are heart rates, these are heart rate zones. Here's an interesting fact. As your heart rate increases, your body's ability to burn fat decreases. This right here is what's called your anaerobic threshold. The word anaerobic actually means without oxygen. So if you're exercising in an anaerobic state, are you burning fat in this zone? Absolutely not, because you're anaerobic. So because the word anaerobic means without oxygen, you can't oxidize fat, which means you're not burning fat. Okay? This would be what's called your fat burning zone. So ultimately what we want to do is increase your VO2 capacity. Now how we do that is something called interval training. That's when we take the heart rate up and down, up and down. There's many different ways of doing that. The most basic is just running. You do a run, you do a walk, you do a run, you do a walk. So we increase the VO2 capacity and it looks more like this. Your anaerobic threshold is here. Your aerobic with oxygen threshold expands, or you have a greater threshold to be able to burn fat. So in essence, you become a fat burning machine. I don't know about you, but who doesn't want to be a fat burning machine, right? So that's what VO2 is all about. The next thing is your metabolism. Now this is something called mitochondria. Mitochondria are the powerhouses of the cell. That's what produces the energy. So let's use Phoenix as an example. Let's say more people keep moving here, and we build more houses, and more people keep moving here, and so on. Well, eventually we're going to put stress on the electrical system, and we're going to have a problem. We'll have blackouts and so forth. So to avoid that, what we would do to adapt to that stress on the electrical system is build more power plants. Same thing with the human body. Let's say the average person burns about 2,000 calories in one 24-hour day. If I help you burn, let's say, 500 calories in 1 hour, that's a lot of stress on the system. That's 1/4 of your energy output in 1 hour. Your body's not used to that. So what's going to happen is your body will literally start growing more power plants in the individual cells, thus changing your metabolism, increasing the amount of mitochondria in the individual cells. So a lot of people tell me, hey Chris, I'm getting older. It's because of my age that my metabolism has slowed down. Yes, age is a factor. But think about it. Are you as active now as you were when you were 19? Most people say no. So your metabolism has much to do with your activity level. You increase your activity level, you maintain that, your metabolism will also increase. And of course, on the opposite side of that, that old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it, is true. You become less active, and over time, this will happen. So we want to make sure that we get the activity level up so we can increase the amount of mitochondria in the individual cells. Last but not least, let's multiply the process. Because every muscle cell in your entire body has more mitochondria in them. So what we say to the average client, let's say female client, we say, hey, let's put on 5 pounds of lean muscle. And then usually I get a response, hey, wait a second, I'm hiring you to help me lose weight. And I say, well, wait a second. Yes, I'm going to help you lose weight, but our focus needs to be changing your composition. We want to help you to be more muscle and less fat. So it's important that we have a composition change instead of just focusing on the scale. The scale is just one way of measuring your progress with relation to this whole process. Okay? And for the average male, we suggest adding 10 pounds of lean muscle. Now here's a really cool fact. For every pound of muscle you gain, that's 50 more calories a day you're going to burn doing nothing. So for the average female, it's 250 more calories a day you're going to burn doing nothing. And for the average male, it's going to be 500 more calories a day. I love to use analogies. What's going to burn more fuel? A Honda Civic or a Corvette? Obviously the Corvette. Now it's a fine-tuned, beautiful machine, but it's going to burn more fuel because it's got a bigger engine. So that's what we want to do for our clients. Muscle is the engine of your body. We want to take it from a 4-cylinder at least to a 6-cylinder so that your body becomes more efficient. And it's a whole lot easier to get the fat off and keep it off the rest of your life. So this is the science of weight loss. We're going to increase the amount of lean muscle tissue, we're going to increase your metabolism, we're going to increase your VO2 capacity, and we're going to help you change your eating habits, not put you on a diet. This plan here, this way of doing it, is sustainable and achievable, but everything we do is customized to the individual person. There is no such thing as a cookie cutter workout or plan for anyone. Everything we do is for the individual. So, this is what we do for everyone. Again, my name is Chris of Vimtrim. Thank you.